August is a really exciting month in the gardening calendar because there is so much to harvest, like these gorgeous plums, but there is lots that you can be sowing right now from seed to keep those delicious harvests coming. Because August is such an important harvesting month, it means that very soon you will end up with empty space like I have in the bed beside me. Now, what you plant will partly be determined by what you were growing in that bed previously. It's called crop rotation. If you're not sure about it, I've done a whole separate video on it. But basically, long story short, if you had potatoes in the bed, it's a great spot to plant all of your leafy salad vegetables. If you were growing carrots or onions, you've still got time to plant more carrots or more onions back into that bed. If it was beans or peas, you can follow up with a few more beans or peas, or you could plant any of your salad crops, anything that's nice and fast growing, like spinaches and lettuces. If you have some courgette plants, some summer squash plants, they can go in there as well, but you won't have time to plant them from seed. It's too late to plant them from seed, but if you've got some plants already going, whack them in where you had your peas and beans. They will absolutely love it. If it was your brassica bed, your cabbages or turnips or broccoli, cauliflower, anything in the brassica family, that is the perfect spot to plant your Asian vegetables, your Mizuna, Bok Choy, Bok Choy. All of your radishes, including Asian radishes like mooli and daikon, they can go in there as well. You could also plant turnips in there. Turnips are one of those crops that you can sow twice during the year. You can sow them in the spring and then you can sow them again in late summer. So you can have 2 turnip harvests in the year. Not every turnip variety is suitable for sowing in August, but a lot of them are. Just bear in mind that you may be harvesting them slightly smaller if you're sowing them in August, but those are delicious for salads. And remember, you can use the leaves as well, so it doesn't matter that it won't be a big fat turnip. Now, I grew up in Australia eating young baby turnips, fresh, raw, thinly sliced in salads. So it was a real surprise to me when I moved to Ireland and discovered that turnips can get absolutely massive and that here they only eat them cooked. So tell me in the comments, wherever you are in the world, do you eat your turnips raw or cooked? But either way, consider growing some as a salad vegetable. I have just lifted the most gorgeous crop of onions, and that is the perfect spot for me to plant some more onions, some lovely fast growing spring onions. There's lots of different varieties of these, red ones, white ones, lovely ones with bulbs at the end. They're all really fast growing. They'll be ready to harvest before the winter, so they're perfect to plant right now. These are fabulous to grow with kids because the seeds are large enough to sort of see where you're planting them. They grow really quickly, and then you can use them on things like homemade pizzas, so the kids can really directly see, I planted it, it grew, and now I'm eating it. They're a great one to do with the kids. You can also plant carrots and root crops like beetroot into the soil where you're growing your onions. You can also plant lovely leafy chard, which will give you green leaves right through the winter. Now, if you're planting carrots or beetroot, it is getting late in the season for a lot of varieties of those. So look for something like Amsterdam forcing or Nantes carrots. These all perform really well as the weather starts to cool down later on in the year. So plant them now in August and you'll be harvesting them before the frosts. Most of your beetroot will say to plant them in July, not August, but if you want lovely, tender, delicious, juicy baby beets, you can plant them in August. So they aren't going to get to be really big bulbs. You'll be harvesting them at sort of golf ball size or smaller, but these are perfect for pickling so that you can enjoy them in your lovely salads. And when they're nice and young like that, the leaves are lovely and tender, so you can eat the leaves of beetroot as well, so you will get double the bang for your money. Eat those lovely tender leaves, cook them up, pop them in an omelette, have them with pasta, put them in a stew. They're really nutritious and they're a bonus crop because they haven't cost you any extra space to grow. You can still plant peas and some types of bean in August. August is your last chance to plant peas from seed to get a harvest from them this year. Later on in the year, you can plant peas to overwinter to give you an early harvest next spring. But if you want to have actual peas from your plants, August is the last time to sow them. If you want a super quick harvest, opt for a mange tout variety. These are ones where you eat the pod before the peas inside are fully developed. You can succession sow peas, so that means that you can be sowing them at intervals through most of the year so that you have a really lovely steady harvest. There are different types of peas that are better for sowing at different times of year. I'm not going to go into varieties because the ones that are available are going to be different depending on where you're watching this in the world, but have a look at the back of the packet, ask your local garden centre, ask the people growing around you and find out which varieties are really good for you to sow. I promise, unless you are somewhere absolutely freezing cold, there will be a pea that you can plant right now. And remember, you can eat the leaves from your peas as well, so pick some delicious pea shoots to have as well as those lovely peas. Now, it is too late to plant French beans or runner beans from seed at this time of year, but there is a bean that you can plant in August, and that is broad beans. They're sometimes called fava beans. These are really hardy plants, so you can plant a variety like Aqua Dolce now, and with any luck you'll have a harvest before the first frost. And you can also plant it later on in the year. It will survive the winter and give you a really early harvest for next year. Any little gaps that you get from harvesting other crops are perfect to slot salad vegetables into. Lettuces, spinach, lamb's lettuce, cut and come again salads can all be slotted anywhere into your garden or your allotment. These are outside of those crop rotation groups, so you can plant them anywhere, anytime, and just about all of them can be planted right now in the garden. There are plenty of herbs and flowers that you can sow in August as well. So all of your fast growing herbs like basil and coriander will be ready to harvest before the frost sets in. And just about all of your perennial and biennial herbs can be sown now as well. So things like parsley and lovage, sweet cicely, angelica, all of these can be sown right now. All of your umbelliferous plants, so that's things like carrots and lovage and parsley, are best grown from really fresh seeds. So if you have got these growing in your garden now, wait until those seeds ripen and then get them sown right away or let them self-seed for a really super easy crop. Hardy annuals and biennial flowers can be sown now as well. This includes crops like cornflowers, poppies, California poppies, chamomile, and of course, foxgloves. My allotment is in the north of Ireland, which as you can see is quite windy, sometimes sunny, usually rainy, and in winter we get snow and frost. So Ireland is the equivalent of USDA zones 8 to 10. So if you are in a similar climate in August or late summer, there are lots of crops that you can still be planting from seed straight into the ground to get a lovely harvest before winter sets in. Whatever you are growing or sowing or harvesting this month, get out and enjoy that gorgeous summer weather, even on a windy day like this. I will be back very soon with a new video, and until then, happy gardening.